What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to JCH Garage. I have a new project that I'm starting on today. It's actually my old four-door Civic that I originally picked up from a long-time old friend who I actually had traded cars with many years ago. He had picked up this black four-door, and this is also a 99 2000. It was also an LX. So it's literally the same exact car as the teal car, but my teal car ends up being in better shape than this one, so instead of making this the daily. So Chico actually decided to buy this off of me. So we've been kind of working a deal, building the car to how he wants it built. So he's been, funding the build while trying to pay, me for the car, which has been working out fine. There's actually a story. Chico and I had picked up a 96-98 coupe off Marketplace. It was a shell, but had a K Series A2 swap sitting in it. That is what you see in all my videos. We picked that car up, took the motor out, and kind of stuck the car in the backyard. Kind of went back and forth, and then this car came up. So I paid him my half for the coupe, and I worked a deal with my buddy, and we did a straight trade for a shell. So I ended up taking a lot of stuff off of the shell that I wanted to put on this car. So we swapped the EG subframe that was in it. I took the Del Sol seats. I took the steering wheel. And we pretty much traded shells. I have a bunch of pictures I'll post here, of the progress and everything. So from there, we kind of put this car together pretty quickly, actually. I picked up a Y8 swap for it for 800 bucks. Motor, tranny, harness, the works, axles, shift linkage, mounts. It was all just, I picked it up from not too far from my house, actually. And we dropped it in pretty much the same night. drive it 5 hours north to Stark, Florida for a track day. Did fine driving all the way up there. Had AC and everything too. And tracked it and blew the head gasket on it. And continued to track it because, you know, we're crazy like that. So we ended up driving it all the way back with the blown head gasket. Did just fine. From there, it just kind of sat. So, and then I had bought everything to do a head gasket job on it, you know, rebuild it and just make it fresh again. And then came the crazy idea to, you know, pick up the teal EK instead. So that's where we're at now. This car sat for quite a while. We're not too concerned as far as body and paint right now with the car. We're going to do a high compression Y8. I'm going to turbo with this thing. So he's picked up the turbo setup. It's en route to my house. The game plan is I'm going to yank this motor out. We're going to send it to the machine shop. We're going to let them do pretty much everything I let them do on my B20 VTEC. So we know we have a fresh, clean, good motor. You know, we're going to do higher compression pistons, around 10.5 to 1. Goal is 300 to the wheels. That's going to be more than enough for what we want to do with the car as far as tracking it, taking it to the Dragon. Yes, he is coming to the Dragon with me this year. I've already set that up. It would have been cool to kind of hang on to it for myself, but I don't need 3 cars, 2 being the same exact car. And, you know, Chicos wanted to get back into on a Honda. He used to have a coupe, a 96, 98 coupe actually, and it was red. That's why we had picked up that car all in the first place. It was kind of nostalgia for him. But, yeah, it just worked out to where we got rid of that shell. We picked up this shell, and now we're getting ready to make this build the way he wants it done. You know, he's a single cam guy at heart. This is currently what we're working with here. So I'm getting ready to pull this all out. The transmission, I believe the input shaft seal was trashed. So it leaked all the oil going up and back down. We never even topped it back up. So that's coming out. I have a DX transmission. I'm going to swap over to it. Depending on if he likes that with the boost or not, we'll look at rebuilding this one or building this one. We can always put an LSD in it. Unfortunately, the other transmission, we cannot put an LSD in because it has that 35mm, 40mm bearing thing. So unfortunately that one's at 35mm, so they don't make a LSD for that. And I don't know what would even be required to make something like that work. But it'll have a longer final drive, and that's always usually good for boost. Alright, just got done with the boring stuff, went ahead and drained all the fluids, had a chance to look and see the transmission. I'm just going to drop the motor right down to the bottom. I'm going to take the head off first because we need to know what's in the block, and I want to see the condition of the walls so we can order more parts so we can get the rest of this build going. But as of right now, I'm getting ready to just pull everything apart. Just a little view of what we got. We got True Heart front lower control arms. They are bushing, they're not bearing, so they're decent. But I don't have any play with them. I replaced the compliance bushings. They had some K-tuned on there and there was a bunch of play on it, so I replaced it with some OE replacements, and they've been good since. These are True Heart street coilovers with upgraded front springs because this came out of the K, so they're a little stiffer. It's got hard race upper camber kit. Nothing else really special. I'm just pulling the ball joints off now. Alright, just took the passenger side apart. Just gotta pop the axle out. Getting ready to do the driver's side right now. And I'm gonna work on taking the head off. Once I've got the head off, then we'll start taking the rest of the stuff down. Man, I just pulled the crank pulley off of this thing. There was no keyway holding on to the crank. I can't believe that. People do the weirdest, dumbest things ever. Thank God there was no problems. Basically, I've got the timing belt left to take loose and then take the head off. It's ready to go. Alright, got the head off. This is a little concerning. They do have some wiggle in them. But the cylinder walls seem to be okay. Not seeing physical damage in there. Pop the crank bolt back on, give it a small rotation, and look at the other cylinders. Start taking the rest of this apart. I don't see any damage in the cylinders, so I must have just lifted the head gasket on cylinder 3 because we were pushing pressure into the coolant system. So, alrighty. Alright, there she is. One thing I hate about single cams is it doesn't have the block port to drain the coolant. So, unfortunately, now there's coolant all over my garage floor. But it's out. The next step is to clean this mess up. Get all this nasty coolant cleaned out. Take the transmission off. Grab the stand out of the truck, set that up, and get it ready to bolt onto the block. So I just start tearing this thing down. The goal was to tear it down tomorrow, but I mean, it's only 2:30. It's only taken me 2.5 hours to get fully running to here. So I might just tear it all apart now. I had Chico on the phone, so I wasn't really recording, but I separated the transmission, took the clutch kit off, bracket, starter, blah, 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 blah. It's all off. It's ready to go on the engine stand now. I'm going to take a couple of accessories off, make it a little lighter, see if I can't just pick this thing up myself and stick it on there. Yeah, other than that, I've just created a big mess in here, but no big deal. Let's get this cleaned up real quick, get the stand out so I can get that assembled. I'm going to see if I can't send the valve cover with the head, and just have them just clean this whole thing, because it's bad. It's real bad. So. Well, I got the engine on the stand all by myself. That was pretty cool. Got a little bit of coolant on me, because, you know, it's hard to see, but there it is right there. Like I said, this thing doesn't have a block port to drain all the friggin' antifreeze. So it drained all over me and the floor instead. But it's on. I'm probably going to stop for a little bit here. Gotta clean myself up, clean the floor up. I cleaned most of my tools up. I'm not using majority of like the flywheel and the clutch. All that's pretty much junk. We got all new high performance stuff coming. Yeah, I gotta take the intake manifold off the head still. Alright, Beck is officially gutted. I have plenty of work to do on the car itself as well. It's not just motor. This was an automatic. We converted to manual very quickly. So I have to wire in the reverse, the cruise control, wire in the horn. Motor mounts are trashed, so we're gonna get some mounts. This thing is Bunzo. That one's broken. This one's actually okay. The torque mounts aren't broken either, so he's gonna order some parts. Well, he's ordering parts as we go. But let me go get this antifreeze off me, and I'll be back. entirely torn apart. Walk you through everything real quick here for the sample. Walls don't look terrible. Have to check the deck. Crank. Oil pan. All this needs to be cleaned up. Everything is disgusting. We're not using rods or pistons. We have aftermarket rods and pistons. I'm hoping to get that cleaned up in the machine shop as well, because this whole motor looks like it's never had an oil change before. So I'm going to try to fix that, make it look nice. The transmission leaked. As you can see, it's all wet in there. So I think the input shaft seal is leaking. I'm going to take the intake manifold off of the head, strip the head down real quick as well, make note of what parts we're going to need, seals, and get this all gutted out. Okay, now I'm done tearing the motor apart. Got the head apart. Sitting here draining. You can see it's still a bit of a problem. But I gotta go through the wire harness and clean that up. The auto manual plate, so I have to take all this apart. I have a new shifter, so I have to take all that apart. I'm taking parts off of this. I gotta take this off, or take the airbag off at least, and look to see what we have back there. So I have a handful of stuff to do on the car. Got carried away and cleaned the bay again. I like a clean bay. I like to start off with a clean bay anyway. Not bad for a little wipe down. Some of the greaser. So. Okay. Now I'm done for the night. I'm tired. I've done enough. Missed the spot. Whatever. Better what it was. Alright. Until next time, guys.